where was I? I think I was talking about my sophomore year, and my sophomore year of college. My freshman year of college was a blast. I learned so much my freshman year. I learned more about myself, and I did a lot of hallucinogenics. My sophomore year, I was hanging out. At the beginning, Zach wasn't there at all. He had broken up with me, and I was hanging out with Roy. There was this group of guys who lived down the street, and they lived in this really big house, and they were all renting it together. They each had a bedroom, and we called them the homies. And they had a video game system hooked up. Yeah, they were really cool. And Roy and I were always over there, and we were running our weed business pretty much. We were selling, but we weren't selling a whole lot. It wasn't like a big, selling operation. Roy and I, we had it very methodical. We had it all planned out. I had spreadsheets that we would work on, and Roy started taking business class with me. We took business statistics and spreadsheets and stuff like that. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I would go to Spring City every single weekend. And I loved going to Spring City. And I would always party in Spring City. And most of the time, whenever I'd go to Spring City, I would stay at Jerica's house. Because Jerica, I think this was her senior year. Yeah, I would party down in Spring City, and Roy was like, why are you always wanting to go to Spring City? And I was like, it's a lot of fun. He wanted to go, and I was like, yeah, come on, let's go. And whenever I went to Spring City, I never did sell, because it felt dangerous for just me to be selling. And so I never did sell in Spring City. I just go party and have a blast, and come back, and Roy would handle the business on the weekends. But this time, because we were both going, we had our stash in his car in the back seat. We decided to put it. It was in a lockbox. We put it in a lockbox. I mean, very responsible. We would cross every T, dot every I with this business that we had going, this side hustle business that we had going. We had put all of our products into a box, and we locked that box, and we put that into the trunk, and we locked the trunk, and we put it in the back. And yeah, so what ends up happening is on our way to Spring City, because it's a 2-hour drive to Spring City from where we're at, and on our way to Spring City, we were smoking in the car, and we get pulled over. And we get pulled over like we had just left the college town. We were smoking on our way out. And we get pulled over, and the police officers end up taking us both out and separating us and interrogating us separately. And they search down that car. They search the car down. And they don't even find the lockbox, which proves that we're pretty good at hiding stuff. But me and him, we did not have time to coordinate stories, yet our story was exactly the same. It wasn't the true story, but it was exactly the same. That I'm his girlfriend, and I'm from Spring City, and we're going to see my parents for the weekend. And yeah, whenever I got in the car, it smelled like that too. He said that he had a friend, and his friend got in and smoked, and he was like, don't do that in my car, and kicked him out. I don't know if that's what he did, but that's what he told me. That's exactly what he told the officers. Officers, this is my girlfriend. She lives in Spring City. We're going to see her parents for the weekend. Before I picked her up, I happened to have a buddy. He wanted a ride somewhere, and I was like, yeah, I've got time. So I picked him up, and then he lights one up in my car, and I'm like, dude, my girl's going to be pissed. I didn't even think I might get pulled over by the police, but I knew my girl was going to be pissed, and sure enough, she was. Exact same story. Didn't even coordinate. And so they let us go, and I have many stories like that. That was just the first one, and I don't know why, but the stuff like that makes me happy. It just does. I like police officers. I love Hug a Cop. Hug a Cop is a fun game. I think anyone should play anytime. You can always hug a cop. especially if you're a white girl. I don't know if you're a person of color. Y'all have a different existence in reality, and I'm sorry for that. That's another story. Anyway, I don't know. I do not like the system. I don't like the system. I don't like our inhumane slavery system that we got going on. And, the cops they are the upholders of the system. I don't know. They can be protectors too. It's a complicated thing. Anyway, I'm so happy that I can fool the cops. I'm so happy that I can fool the system and that I can get away with being me even though I'm not allowed to be me. So that makes me happy. Sorry, but it makes me happy. And yes, I do understand that as I tell this fake fictional story of my life, that I might end up being locked up for life because there are people out there that strongly believe that I am an evil criminal because of what I've done. And I mean, I'm just touching the surface right now. But I sold marijuana, and I sold marijuana to college kids, and I sold marijuana at parties. And that might make me evil. I didn't really make a profit off of it other than I always had marijuana and I was a pothead, and I loved that I always had marijuana because I'm a pothead. So I don't know if that's bad or good. I don't know. But I was responsible with my shiz, and I don't understand why that makes me such a criminal. But anyway, that story's done. And oh my goodness. My sophomore year at the beginning was pretty good, hanging with the homies and partying and learning and yeah. And then, when Zach started coming back, Zach does not like Rory at all. He hates Roy, and he's like, you've got to quit being his friend. And I'm like, he's a gay guy. And he's like, he is not a gay guy. And Zach was major homophobic. Like, I wouldn't believe that homophobics exist, except for he was, like, truly scared of gay people. Like, he thought that gay people do not exist. They do not exist. They're just disgusting humans. And I mean, oh my gosh, I don't even know with him. I think that he's a closet homosexual, but I also know that he has his own story. He has his own traumas. Just me being with his family, the little bit of time in my life that I was traumatizing. Just seeing his family was traumatizing. His brother who got shot by his wife, and everybody has to pretend like she didn't shoot him. And it's just, it's his cousins who are just, they deal in meth and I deal in marijuana. And, it's like, there is this bias where it feels like, I'm the good person because I'm not dealing in meth, I'm dealing in marijuana. But meth is very destructive. And I don't think that there is a better with these things. The more I've thought over it in my life, the more I'm like, I don't think that there is a better or worse. I know it's confusing, but but yeah, when Zach came back, he did not like Roy at all, and he was just like, "You've got to cut him off." And I don't know. I wasn't looking at it the same. Like I said in another video, I just was like, I'm not gonna have you full time, Zach. That's apparent to me. You're always gonna leave me. Like, one thing that I can count on Zach doing is leaving me. I never counted on him coming back, but he always came back. But I did know every time, at this point where we are, there's no doubt in my mind, if I take you back, you're going to leave me. So I wanted his baby. I wanted what the other girls couldn't have. His first child. I don't know. And the second half of my sophomore year, it went I went from all A's to all F's. I flunked out. Totally flunked out. And I was taking Cal 3 at this point, and religions, and I was taking theater appreciation. And that one I actually did good in. That one was fun. I got to go see some plays. But yeah, I completely flunked out. I did. Computer science. I was taking computer science, coding. I can't get past the first half of the semester. Once we got into the second half, it was like my brain just went. What I didn't know then was I got pregnant in March, and whenever a girl gets pregnant, her brain literally shrinks and then regrows to know what to do for the baby. I did get pregnant the second semester of my sophomore year, and my brain shrank, and it was crazy. It was a crazy experience because I've always had this brain where tests are easy, studying is easy, and it was just like now I'm sitting in front of a book and it's just like my brain goes blank, and I'm like, what's going on here? It was really weird. And with the test, I remember just looking at it like it might as well be another language, the Cal 3 test, and which I always thought I've always been like, math is another language. It must be the language of God. And then I found out that Pluto has a similar view of math, and I'm just like, yes, I love math. And yeah, my Cal 3 test was another language. I don't even know what was going on. But yeah, I could not even do that test. I just drew and scribbled. It was an obvious F, and I told my teacher that. I was like, thanks, but I failed. It's all good though. Bye. Because what can you do? You're going to cry about it. What's the point, So, yeah, when my sophomore year was over with and I was pregnant, I had finished out the rest of the year, and, Zach had left, but I was pregnant with this baby. Like, I knew I was pregnant with this baby. I'm like, I got your baby, because I told him, I looked you right in the eye and said, okay, I'll take you back, but I'm going to have your baby. And he said no. And I said, well, then don't hug me, because I'm not going to be on birth control. And he didn't listen. He effed me. He effed me every single time. Every single time I showed up. Every single time. So, whatever. He was convinced that I'm just this slut on everybody. Like, I hadn't even slept with nobody and since you had gone to prison, bro. I still hadn't slept with nobody. So, whatever. He has his stories. I have mine. At the end of the summer, and I had to go to Spring City where he was. That's where he was. He was in Mountain Valley in Spring City. And so I had to go to Mountain Valley, and I had to get him back. I'm pregnant with this baby. I've got to convince this man that I'm pregnant with this baby, right? I got to. It's his baby. I've got to convince him that I'm pregnant with his baby. Right? If he wants it to have his last name, he can marry me. What's so hard about this, guys? Oh, gosh. Looking back, I see how toxic I was. I don't even think that I even wanted to marry him. What was I thinking? Anyway. So, yeah, I chased him. I went to Mountain Valley. I was there. I was like, please, please, The whole summer long, it was, please love me, Zach. Please love me, Zach. Please love me, Zach. Oh, here comes the slut. What's up, slut? You on them hard drugs? He's telling everybody, yeah, she's pregnant, but taking them hard drugs. I couldn't even be on marijuana, really. I was smoking marijuana, though. I would, occasionally. Not near as much as I used to, and I was very healthy, very healthy. Not to mention the fact that my mother, she was living in Spring City, so I'd go to her house a lot, and she was vegan and all about health. She was dating this hippie dude, and they were all about good health, always making good vegan meals, good pasta vegan meals. So I was really getting into healthy living. While Zach's telling everybody I'm doing hardcore drugs and slut, and who knows whose baby that is. And I'm trying to convince him it's yours, and I'm not a drug, and I'm not slut, and I'm taking care of it, because all I wanted to do is be a mama, and I love my baby, and I can't wait to love my baby, and I'm gonna love my baby, and you can't stop me from loving my baby, but it's your baby too. Oh, goodness. I don't even know, guys. But thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for being here. And as always, be blessed with love. That's all she got.